Welcome to another Psychotronic Coast to Coast. I'm your host, Skinslip. That's your other host, Owen Neal. We watch movies, and oftentimes not great ones. And tonight it's not a great one. In fact, it's not even a terrible movie, but it's got a case of the mediocres, I'd have to say. Anyway, this is one part of our Shark Week episode, which will be out probably long after Shark Week because we're starting this literally the first week of Shark Week. We're recording this, and yeah,
Well, it wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't planned to be a Shark Week. It was just going to be a random Shark Month.
Oh right.
It just happens to be Shark Week.
Oh yeah, it just so happens that we're starting Shark Week this week. Yeah, that is correct. Anyway, so we watched Sharks in Venice from 2007. 2008 it says here on Letterboxd. And it goes by Shark in Venice and Sharks in Venice. And I don't know which one it really is. And technically it's both.
Yeah, we debated it because when it starts, you kind of only see one shark. I mean, it's hard to tell. I mean, it's the same footage of a single shark, so it seems like one shark.
It's every single shark attack is the same 47 4-second clips in different order. I'm not even kidding. It is literally the same clips over and over again. I was genuinely like, can you even think that that's going to work? The minute you see that the second time, you're like, that's bullshit. I literally out loud said, wait a minute, we literally just saw the same sequence of footage. Like, it happened. And I even complained about it while we were watching the movie. Anyway, this was Owen's pick, by the way. Not that mine's going to be much better, but this is Owen's fault.
Well, you know, we're kind of limited by this 8-movie collection we have that are probably all terrible.
Well, I mean, I have Cruel Jaws and The Last Shark, aka Great White. And I could have sent you, since those were already bootlegs, I could have just ripped those and sent them to you. Plus, they're all over YouTube. But that's beside the point. There's also Night of the Sharks, which, by the way, you know, watching this movie, that's what Night of the Sharks reminds me of Night of the Sharks from 1988, I believe. Hold on. It's over here, on this set here I have. Night of the Sharks, 1988. Fucking nailed it. So it's like, this one is about a guy who has like a disc that contains criminal information, and there's like sharks keeping him from escaping or some shit. I don't know. Night of the Sharks. Apparently, the sharks, even though it's called Night of the Sharks, sharks don't have actually factor heavily in that one, which is why I'm not picking it for this week. But anyway, the plot is very similar of like, there's sharks underwater and a treasure and people trying to get to it, and it's more about that than it is the sharks. Anyway, why don't you take us to the movie?
All right. So we start out, you see some divers in Venice, hence the name.
Yep.
And they're eaten by sharks.
Yeah,
one of them happens to be whoever Stephen Baldwin was playing, his dad.
You just call him Stephen Baldwin. Stephen Baldwin is playing a diet Casper Van Dien in this film. See, when we see Shark Attack 3 Megalodon, which is our next film, or one of the films we're watching in the series, who knows what order they're in the actual podcast, you'll see that like Stephen Baldwin's literally just a diet Coke version of Casper Van Dien. Cannot speak tonight. So, you know, just saying, he's literally turning in a Casper Van Dien wannabe performance. Except, unlike Casper Van Dien, he has even less charisma, and he's definitely only on set for 2 days, and definitely reading his lines from below the camera in every scene.
He's the diet version, but he's heavier.
Well, yeah, he's diet as in quality. Definitely a Coke extra in content upon his person. Not to fat shame, considering I am also a fat person, but you know. He's a bit husky.
Although I think Casper Van Dien's getting up there too.
He actually, it's just the gut. He looks like a wrestler. He's actually got a pretty good physique. He's got like a wrestler's body, where he's like, it's like he's got the arms and the chest are kind of defined, and then like his guts is like a fucking mess.
Yeah, he's straight into the straight to video stuff at this point, sci-fi movies and stuff.
And he's super leaned into it. He's pretty much embraced it, and he's like the new. I gotta say, and I don't mean this as an insult to anybody in any way, but Casper Van Dien is starting to shape up to be like the new age Bruce Campbell. He needs to star in a Evil Dead, and I think his career will fucking launch again. I think he'll have a whole like renaissance of horror movies and exploitation if he had just one good horror movie to star in that went to theater. You know, I just believe it. He'll just chew up the scenery. He's just dying for that next break. By the way, I love Casper Van Dien. Casper Van Dien. So I mean, no disrespect. And I love Bruce Campbell, so I apologize if I offended you by comparing you to Casper Van Dien, assuming you're offended by such things. I don't know, maybe they know each other. Maybe they're good friends. And, like, they trade like gift baskets on holidays.
Who knows?
Anyway, so yeah.
Anyway,
Stephen Baldwin.
Baldwin is a teacher.
He's a teacher, yes.
He's newly engaged. They're getting ready to marry, but they got to go to Venice and identify his dad's corpse. The coroner just nonchalantly just shows them full mutilated corpses with no discreet,
no
usually
warning,
like
no trigger
maybe
warning,
the head,
nothing.
like swing.
No trigger warning, none.
And they said neither one's the dad. They said they were killed by boat.
Hold on. He walks in. He goes, "Oh yeah, these are two victims," and immediately, without a fucking second, that's when that's like. I know you said it, but like he literally, not even a second to process the words that are coming from his mouth. He's like, "Is this one of them?" Like, what the fuck? Here's your corpse. Yeah. Is that your dad?
Yeah.
Like,
not even just like the head, like it was like basically a head and like part of a body, and the rest was just all ripped apart. Yeah. And he just threw the whole thing up, and then Baldwin just puts it back over. He's like, not him.
And he pulls a line directly from Jaws, and he's like, "No, this looks like a shark attack. This is not a propeller, a mysterious propeller accident, which was the death proposed by the coroner for, not the coroner by the mayor to the coroner to write down, that it was a boating accident with the poor girl at the beginning of that movie." Not this movie, obviously, but I mean, so it's actually a callback to Jaws with that reference, because it's the first attack, boating accident, yada. Anyway, sorry.
I was saying if it's a boating accident, the boat must have just kept dropping a propeller on them over and over because there wasn't much left.
Oops. Well, like, oh, we're trying to save you. We're trying to keep pulling them into the propeller by mistake. Poor bastard.
But they're not his dad. They decide they're gonna stay at the dad's house, which has been ransacked. And also, they got permission to dive for 48 hours, try to find the dad in this restricted zone. They had to sign contracts and NDAs, and they can't say anything, and all this other. But, and they had to have this girl officer with them at all times.
That pretty much sums it up, yeah.
Couldn't act.
No, well, not many. Most of the cast couldn't act.
Yeah. Most
of these people are just.
I don't know if it's couldn't act or if they were just told to have no emotion in anything whatsoever.
I think this is the classic case of a one take. Like, oh, that was good. Let's go. Move on. Like, you don't want another take? No, that was good enough. You're like, oh, it's one of those movies. Okay.
Yeah.
You like, when you're on set with one of those movies, you're like, oh, we're on one of those movies. Shit.
Yeah, there's just no emotion in anybody.
Not even Stephen Baldwin.
It's just like deadpan.
By the way, this is shot in Bulgaria, and all the Venice shit is stock footage, including a part where Stephen Baldwin. Oh, sorry. Next, they go to Stephen Baldwin's dad's apartment, and mysteriously, it's been ransacked, and the liaison, which was just attached to them, acts all shocked, like, "Oh, what happened here?" And we all know she knows that they fucking ransacked that shit. But
they're not smart.
But I was gonna get to the point where there's a point where Stephen Baldwin opens the window, leans out, and it's the worst. It's not the worst. It's some pretty bad CGI, glaringly bad.
I don't think it was CGI. I think they had a shot of water, and then just kind of like put the footage together.
It's 4 discs on a. It's 4 movies on a disc. Okay, the quality is atrocious. There's artifacting everywhere. There's a lot of times when he's like, "Oh, is that a green screen?" Like, I don't know. It could just be really bad artifacting, and that's the thing about really cool quality DVDs. You just can't tell what's being presented because it's just crushed by the bit rate.
I mean, clearly the water wasn't there, and they put it in, but it didn't look like CGI water.
It looked like CGI to me. It could have been CGI water, but it could have also been.
I think they just shot real water and then just rotoscoped around.
They probably had a green box and just mapped out the green box and put Steven and all that shit there. And Steven's on a fucking movie, just a regular set, a regular pre-built house. Anyway, so he goes out to this window, and there's a nail hammered into the windowsill, and a rope, and all the files that the dumb fucking government people were looking for are in this easy to find suitcase, just dangling outside the window, in the water.
In the water, air quotes.
Oh, because nothing's wet inside.
Because nothing's wet inside this briefcase.
They even ziplocked everything because that would make sense, right?
Did you notice the ziplocs weren't even like ziplocked? He picked one up and it was open. And
yeah. Yeah. Like, he was fucking around before they started recording and he couldn't get it zipped in time before the director said action. He's like, fuck. Close the door. Oh, yeah, here it is. Oh, shit. I'm like, yeah, it's...
But it wasn't a waterproof case. That's the key. It's just a normal, briefcase.
I'm going to pause right here and tell you right now. This movie is still better than any Sharknado movie you've ever fucking seen. Okay?
Shots fired.
I'm sorry, but these people were trying to make a good movie. And they failed. Sharknado was trying to make you a bad movie, and they succeeded. But which one did you really waste your time with? You know what I mean? I attempted to see something good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it wasn't the worst movie we've ever seen. It was a decent. It was actually it was a decent little flick, I gotta say. I was falling asleep, not related to the movie. It was some other thing going on with my body here. But I feel better now. I don't know. I was literally just like...
Debatable.
No, it happens all the time, actually. Like, I was having a carb crash or whatever, and I'm just like...
It does. It's happened several times when we watch movies.
It's the time of night when I crash out and have like a little nap for like an hour or some shit sometimes, you know? And then I'm good I'll be up till 3 in the morning still. I'm not fucking tired, which is why I kept falling asleep. I'm like, what the fuck's happening? I kept almost falling asleep. I didn't actually fall asleep. I didn't actually fall asleep a single time. But I kept closing my eyes and felt my head nodding. I'm like, what am I doing? No. We're watching Stephen Baldwin run around the fucking set in Bulgaria. 90% of this fucking movie is a goddamn set in a warehouse in Bulgaria. And Stephen Baldwin was clearly on set for one, maybe 2 days. Maybe 2 days. Anyway, sorry. I didn't mean to go on a tear there.
Yes. Suitcase had information where he went diving.
Right. The location of the treasure that he was looking for.
He goes there, and apparently they sent some police divers. I'm not sure who they were. There was a diver with him. I assume because the woman wanted someone with him. But anyways, that guy dies from a shark anyways.
And then there's a weird shark scene gets him. Where... Yep. In exactly the same way as the previous guy got killed by the same shark. Yep.
And then there's a scene where Stephen Baldwin, full on half body in a shark mouth, then cuts to shark's just gone, and he's climbed out, and he's got a little teeny blood running off the opposite arm.
That was so fucking good. I laughed. I fucking howled when I saw that. I was like, what?
I was like, why did the shark let go, let alone why is he hurt on the other arm?
Why is he barely hurt at all? Shouldn't he have a gaping wound on his side from several bite marks, even if it wasn't like a chunk? He should have several stab wounds, basically. From little 1-inch knives.
But yeah, he finds a hole, climbs out, escapes the shark, and oh, it's the treasure. Which they said apparently is $200 million, but you think an 100-plus-year-old treasure would be worth a lot more than
Perhaps, yeah.
just in historical value alone. Not even gold. Considering it was a giant stack, and then he like it kind of gets like your typical treasure hunting music. It's like playing like dee, and then there's traps and like, oh, will those come into play? No.
No, we were sitting there. He's going through this fucking Indiana Jones sequence where it's like he's like triggers a trap and gets through it, and he does it a few times, a few traps, and then we're like, oh, and I was like, oh, that means he'll bring the guys through, and all the bad guys will get killed by the traps. Like that's smart. That's exactly what a good filmmaker would do. But do they do that? No, not even for a second. They even go back. And I think they don't even trigger a single trap when they go back.
No.
I am baffled by this cinematic choice.
But he puts a gem in his wetsuit, and then I don't know what his plan was. He had no tank anymore. He swam for quite a ways to find them. He just bleeding and almost passing out because remember he tells his wife he can't talk anymore because he's bleeding or whatever.
Running out of oxygen,
and he just jumps in the water.
He falls backwards into a well, by the way. It's like
no, he just jumps in.
Pretty sure he falls backwards into the water, though.
No, he jumps in.
Are you looking at it
Feet
right
first.
now? Feet first?
And then,
is it still
just
a well,
cuts
at least?
to, like, 2 days later.
It's a circular hole with water in it, right?
It was, yeah, the hole they climbed in to get to the treasure.
Which, by the way, they climbed out of a well, which is they probably didn't actually climb out of that well. That's just magic of filmmaking right there.
To me, it just looks like he had... Like, he's like, I need to go back to the boat now, and just jumped in, and it's like 2 days later. I'm like, how'd they find him? Like, he was
how'd they get him
so
out?
far away from
How'd they rescue him?
And it's not like the canal is right next to him. Like, he swam quite a ways under buildings or the ground or whatever, into caves. But whatever, he survived. Apparently, he's just fine because he's pretty much just let out of the hospital after 2 days. His little shark nick in his opposite arm, I guess, is fine. And they're basically told they're like, we're not going to say anything about the sharks, whatever. We're gonna, but mafia.
Dun dun dun. Complications.
Brings them to dinner and basically says, "We'll give you 20 million if you tell us where bring us to the treasure." And they say no. Leave that. Of course, obviously you can't say no to them, but yeah. They're like, let's sightsee for a day and then we'll go home. And they're like walking around pointing at stuff, and they show up, beat the shit out of him and steal her, and they head off. And then the woman cop shows up and says, go to your hotel, you're leaving. Like, what about my wife? They're like, we'll look into it.
We'll look into it, dicks. Well, then we all know what Stephen Baldwin can't possibly do, and that is leave without his wife. He's definitely going to go get his wife.
So he's chilling in his room. Bad guys break in and just start shooting at him. Like, what is the plan here? Like, I was ranting about this for a while. Because there's this whole sequence. They're shooting at him. They're chasing him. They're shooting at him more. They try to cut him up with a chainsaw. He gets one of the bad guys to tell him where a boat is. They go there. They used to be there. And then they show up and put a bag on his head and take him to where the main bad guy is. That has his woman.
So they want him dead or alive? Which one is it?
Yeah, they spent like 20 minutes trying to murder him, even though they need him to show him where the treasure is. Like, what was the plan there?
I think in that sequence where he's literally, at the end of the movie, by the way, he spends the last 8 minutes of this movie literally just underwater fighting some guy, rolling around.
The main mobster.
Yeah, but incoherently rolling around with this guy in the water. And I'm thinking this running from everyone while they're trying to shoot him was originally for the actual ending for the sequence. And moved it forward because the middle of the movie is fucking boring without it. I think that's what happened. And that's why the incongruence of them trying to kill him versus not kill him. I think
it's so confusing.
Things like that happen all the time in filmmaking, though. So
As well as when they showed up and grabbed his wife, why didn't they just grab him? They knocked him out. Just grab him and take both of them and then say, hey, you're going to die or we're going to kill your wife. They could have just jumped the process and then not try to murder him with machine guns and a chainsaw.
You're asking for logic in this movie.
I didn't think I asked for too much. Just
I don't think
basic
so
logic.
I don't think you're allowed to ask logic in a movie called Sharks and Venice.
Yeah, and then at the end, when you're gonna show my guys where there is. By the way, I filled the canal with sharks to protect people, so people wouldn't dive and find this treasure.
But he does show a pretty cool CGI shark in a portable container. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, he's gonna feed the wife to the sharks if he doesn't show him where the treasure is or whatever. Of course, that
whatever eye rolling bullshit. Yeah,
he's gonna kill them.
It's just...
And then it shows that the woman cop detective is working for him, and then she just says, "Bye," and she just leaves. She shows up long enough to like, she works for me. And then she's like, all right, see you later. And just leaves. Like, okay.
Walks off the movie.
So he brings the guys to the thing. Of course, some are eaten by sharks. He blows up a shark with a explosive tip harpoon gun. This is where we finally see, like, oh, there's multiple sharks. Thanks for defining that. Well, because another one is swimming that's not blown up. And he has a tank full of sharks.
Kind of.
But so he saves one of the bad guys for some reason, and they get to he brings him in the treasure, and then I'm like, all right, he's gonna trick that guy into a trap, kill him. But then he's like, be careful, there's traps here, follow me. I'm like, okay, there goes that plan of getting rid of that guy who's clearly gonna try to kill you later, which he does try to do.
Of course he does, wouldn't you?
He's like, here's the treasure, and then he pulls a gun out, and he's like, what are you doing?
And I was like, curse your inevitable betrayal. Your sudden but inevitable betrayal, specifically.
And even though that guy's clearly stronger and bigger than Stephen Baldwin, they have a pretty fair fight of punching.
Punch back and forth. Each person punches each other back and forth. It's called a bro fight. So a bro fight is, I'm going to punch you in the face as hard as I can. And you're going to punch me in the face as hard as you can. And whoever doesn't keep standing after we do this, loses. And 1, 2, 3, go. And they just punch each other in the face. No blocking. Blocking's for pussies. Take it like a man.
And then it looked like it was going to get exciting because Stephen Baldwin grabs a sweet sword.
It looks like it's going to get exciting. Oh my god.
And he just smacks the sword out of his hand and then drops his hatchet. And then they fall on the ground. I'm like, what? And then the bad guy reaches for a dagger, but it's not a dagger. Apparently, it closes the gate, and the gate
impales his chest.
And then the bad guy seems surprised. What? And then he sends in more divers to go kill him, who don't know where the hole is to the treasure, but one of them finds it. I mean, the other one's eaten by a shark, but one of them finds this thing they couldn't find, swims right to it. I'm like, okay. And I don't remember what happened to him. He died. Shark.
I think stock-footed shark came for him at some point.
Or was he shot?
Oh,
maybe he made it in and he shot at him.
I think he was the one who got shot. Yeah, actually, that one guy got shot, right? I think that was him.
I don't remember. Maybe he got knocked in the hole and then the shark ate him.
I don't know. Basically, 9 out of 10 villains or bad guys in this movie are killed by the stock-footed shark.
Yeah, and the bad guy's confused by it every time. Like, you put sharks in there. Why are you confused that your guys are being eaten by sharks?
Well, it's like, I can't even imagine. You put the fucking sharks in there, and now they're eating people when they go in the water.
And is there that many people diving that they're gonna find this random ass treasure that's in a hole?
I don't know.
That you needed sharks? It's so confusing. And the dad was even working, like, the whole point was the dad was working for this guy, I think. It wasn't ever really clear. I think he was working for the bad guy to find the treasure.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, it wasn't clear
But
at all.
he got his own men killed repeatedly because he put fucking sharks in the water that didn't need to be there.
I can't imagine there's a whole lot of diving happening in Venice. In the canals, at least.
Yeah.
I mean, I could be
Especially
wrong.
since what I was reading that like the deepest point is maybe 10 feet.
Oh, great. It's a deep pool.
So you could just snorkel. If you see something, hold your breath and go to the bottom.
Oh, and all these guys with the air tanks have snorkels, and we were like, what the hell? Oh, and they're talking underwater with air things in their mouths. So they're pretending like they have the giant full thing,
Yeah.
but instead it's a thing in the mouth. They're talking perfectly fine, somehow, to each other. Without any mouth, and their mouths aren't moving at all.
No.
It's entirely baffling, that choice.
Or the fact they're in a pool with like burlap sack on the bottom for dirt in a fish tank, plants in it.
Even better, muslin cloth hung over the side to make it look like it's like sand or something, so you can't tell it's the edge of the pool. I'm not even kidding. It's just this giant drop cloth or whatever. And then they're like swimming around on the quote unquote ocean bottom, but that's also just a tank with a bunch of fucking rocks things covered with blankets to make it look like rocks. It's so cheap. It's so comically cheap, these underwater shots, because I'll be like, oh hey, this like the very first thing we see are some people swimming in what look like some deep water, probably a very large water tank, and I was like, hey, some of the underwater shots seem pretty neat, and immediately the next shot was this dog shit. And I was like, what the fuck? I thought they had money for underwater photography, but nope. They went to a pool. That's it.
It wouldn't even be that hard because like it's a canal, so it's gonna look man-made anyway. But
Yeah.
like, not that fakely man-made.
It was a thing. It happened.
But yeah, he escapes. He swims out. The guy's waiting for him with the gun pointed at his wife. Another guy's gonna kill Baldwin, but he gets shot. Oh, it's the girl. She's double, quadruple crossing.
She's
Her
actually
reasoning is, too many people have died. You've crossed the line. Apparently, she had a number of how many people were allowed to die before she was like, no more.
All right, 10's enough. All right, that's it. You're cut off.
And then she's promptly shot.
Because she's not the hero.
And then Baldwin grabs the bad guy and they fall in the water for a good 10-20 minutes while the cops swoop in and just start shooting everything and everybody. Just a giant gunfight for no reason. Just guns ablazing, cutting back and forth between sharks swimming, a sped up police boat who apparently doesn't know where the action is because he's just driving around the canals randomly. He never shows up at the end.
Never shows
There's a helicopter that can't land, apparently. It's just buzzing around. Hundreds of guys come rappelling in the building for no reason.
Literally out of nowhere. I'm like, what the fuck?
They arrest a couple. The whole time it keeps cutting back to Stephen Baldwin and the other guy underwater. And then eventually one of his sharks eats him.
Not one of the shark. It is stock footage shark himself.
Yes. And then I like the scene where it's like the shark clearly with like part of its head out of the water eating, like you can see it like his throat going. It shows that, but like you don't see the shark's nose sticking out of the hole they swam out of behind Stephen Baldwin.
Logic.
And then while the cops are arresting people, he just busts out a piece of jewelry he got from the treasure and gives it to his wife. He's like, "This will look good with your wedding dress." It was a pretty ugly piece of jewelry.
On the fucking crime scene, 10 feet away from these cops. Like, no joke.
Now, granted, it's old treasure, but with most old treasure, the government decides it's theirs, usually, and takes it.
Usually, at the very least, tax you for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't just get to have shit free. There's taxes involved. And if it's not of historical or national value, then you get to keep it, I think. So it's just it's a bunch of fucking gold coins, and nobody cares. You know?
I've learned anything
it's a painting
from
of
some
so-and-so monarch that didn't sound for the first time. They're gonna be like, nope, you can't have that painting. That's ours.
Yeah.
historically. That's neither here nor there with this movie, but I just felt like explaining that to you for no reason.
It's true. I watched some of those treasure shows where they're talking about, like, they found a shipwreck that's never been found, and they bring all these gold bars up, and then the government swoops in, and they're like, that's ours.
Yep.
And they just take everything.
Well, gold
after
bars.
These people have spent millions of dollars trying to find it to begin with.
Gold bars are one of those things that are technically property of the government.
And then they'll arrest them for, like, stealing it off the ocean bottom and all this other crap. It's crazy.
Yeah, it can get pretty crazy. Like, but when it pays off good. Otherwise, people wouldn't do it.
There was even that thing too, where like someone found a bunch of like silver coins, like on their property, and it ended up being like it was stolen from.
That was a bank robber, I think specifically. It was a very famous one, if I remember correctly.
No, I think these were stolen from a mint.
Oh no, you're right.
Was like those were ours.
Yeah, that's technically stolen property.
I guess so, but it didn't pass the statute of limitation, and that guy didn't steal it.
I would also point out that this is why if you find a large sum of fucking cash, you do the illegal thing and don't tell a goddamn soul. You don't go on a fucking spend. You don't do something stupid like go on a spending spree. You just very slowly inflate your income by like 10% for the rest of your fucking life, and you can get away with keeping that fucking money if you're fucking smart.
Or you would at least hope like they'd be like, "Here's a reward."
Allegedly, I don't want to say I'm
you know.
Anyone to do this.
Give this person a little bit of something.
I'll tell you what though.
Reward.
I found a thing of silver fucking coins. You best bet they'd be going on eBay one at a fucking time. One at a time.
I think the problem with these were like they knew the years and the markings or
serial numbers and stuff. Yeah.
It'd be hard. Just melt that shit down. Although I think it's worth more. I mean, I guess if you were gonna do it and you just melted it, you'd get less money because you've lost the value of like the rare coin.
Some of it
still
also
have silver value.
Some of it also evaporates away. You do lose a bit of profit, but I honestly, who cares?
Yeah, it'd be worth it because you can't track a bar of silver.
Just take it, melt it down, and drop the liquid hot metal into water and let it cool into weird little rivulets. And they can't identify shit like that. Weird melted rivulets, you know. Still gold. Anyway, let's get on with the movie. What else happens? I think we're near the end.
That was it.
Oh, was it the end?
That was it.
No way.
He stole some treasure and they made out a lot. Also, the girl that double and triple crossed didn't die. Oh
yeah, she survived it. That's right. They load her into the ambulance, and then we walk towards the camera 10 feet, and then he starts giving that soliloquy and gives her the fucking stolen property around her neck and shit when cops are wandering about. Fucking idiot.
Oh, well, the last joke was, oh, that'll look great with my dress. I can't wait to get married. But let's not honeymoon in Venice. And then a shark eats a boat, for the credits, saying, hey, we're still here for part 2.
That no one wants.
Yeah.
I gotta say, my final verdict in this movie is 2.5 out of 5 stars. It wasn't bad. It wasn't falling asleep boring, even though I was falling asleep for unrelated reasons. I had my carb crash at 8 before we went to our live stream, or to our movie watching. But that's not the movie's fault. I thought it was perfectly serviceable, and if this was on Sci-Fi Channel and I was fucking bored, I'd probably watch it, the one time. It's like that's the kind of movie. It's a time waster. It's decent. You might find some stuff you like out of it. What do you think?
I'd say 2
out of 5. Well, that's not too bad.
I mean,
there's a lot of stock footage shark.
Yeah, there was some CG shark eating random people.
Yeah.
We didn't really talk about it. We just cut to him like eating
that's one of those,
what they call it, gondolas. Is that what they're called?
Yeah, the boat
guy with a striped shirt pushes you around a canal.
So romantic.
Because it's not very deep, hence why he pushes you around with a stick.
That's 10 feet long, or 12 feet long, whatever, yeah. God. But yeah, no. I think it's a serviceable little film. Like I said, if it was on Sci-Fi Channel, I'd probably watch it. Why not?
I'm sure it plays on there.
I guarantee it probably does. But yeah, you can pick it up
Nice.
in this. You guys can't see this, but this is the Mega Shark 8 movie collection. There's a DVD. I cannot vouch for its quality. I mean, Blu-ray. I can't vouch for the Blu-ray's quality. I can vouch for the DVD is atrocious, and so you might want to spend the extra $2 to get the Blu-ray instead. Because I'm sure the transfers won't be great. Because I bet you it's all 8 films on one disc, but there'll be more than 2 gigs of video. You know, this is horribly compressed, messy mess. All right, but that being said, the next movie we watch is also in the set. It's starring Casper Van Dien, Shark Attack 2. So
2.
Yep, we're doing 2 first. My 2
I thought
picks
you
are
said 3.
yeah. My 2 picks are 2 and 3. Those are my two picks for the month.
He's in all of them, or
No,
just the first
he's just
one?
in the second one. They're 3 unrelated movies that had the same. And the movie Shark Zone is Shark Attack 4, actually. So
this
literally,
says he's Casper Van Dien's in Shark Attack.
Pretty sure he's in Shark Attack 2.
I mean,
No,
on
he's
the
not.
back-
God damn it. I'm conflating my fucking movies. 1 second. I've seen all these movies, but there's been like fucking 20 years. Oh my god. Dude, this year's the 20th anniversary of Shark Attack. You're right, he's in the first movie. Fuck's sakes. We're watching Shark Attack. Excuse me. We were watching Shark Attack, the first movie then. My apologies.
God, the back. He uncovers a plot by scientists who are experimenting on sharks to find a cure for cancer, resulting in super aggressive killer shark.
Yep.
How's that
This
work?
came out, I think Deep Blue Sea had just come out.
And what's the plot? Like, we're trying to cure cancer? Like,
Yeah,
oh, they're evil.
This came out at the same time as Deep Blue Sea, same year. So when an accidental death verdict is given on discovery of the remains of a top scientist within the stomach of a hammerhead shark, his closest friend, marine biologist Casper Van Dien, is not happy with the explanation and travels to investigate further, where he discovers that his friend's death was not an isolated incident, and that the local population had been terrorized by a rash of shark attacks. Developments in scientific technology had allowed experts to predict the pattern and likelihood of shark attacks, but now it seems that they may also be able to actually control these factors, rendering at disposal the ultimate killing machine. Enjoy the water. You may never want to go in the sea again. That's the movie.
That's like different than the plot in the back of the DVD.
That's a much longer plot. Stolen from IMDb.
It says they're trying to cure cancer.
That's the plot of fucking Deep Blue Sea, by the way.
It's like, that doesn't sound like an evil thing.
Have you seen Deep Blue Sea?
I've seen that one thing where the CGI shark comes out of the hole and eats somebody.
Oh man, that movie's so much fun. It's too popular now. If we had done the show about a decade ago, it would have made it on the early episode of the show because that movie had not had its day in the sun yet. 20 years later, Deep Blue Sea has got a very rabid fan following. It's not a good movie, but it's more unwatchable than what we just watched, Sharks in Venice. So, anyway. So that's what we next. We'll be doing Shark Attack, starring Casper Van Dien. And my other pick will be Shark Attack 3, Megalodon.
We're gonna do 4 shark movies.
Yeah. What's your second pick?
I don't know. Whatever crap's left over.
Not Toxic Shark. Fuck's sakes. Watch the review of that.
Shark.
Toxic Shark, which is apparently a very big waste of time. Malibu Shark Attack. All right.
Monstrous Goblin Shark. Hell yeah. And then it'll be one mega.
More than one, actually. Goblin Sharks.
No, I mean like.
Oh.
The episode when it comes audio.
Oh yeah.
4 together.
It'll be like our best of the bad, or we had one other episode with 4 episodes. We're gonna be doing I think we should do. I like the idea of doing mega episodes better with 4. Like I feel like they get the viewer more value. What do you think about switching to 4 film episodes?
I'd say 3 to 4. It depends on how long we talk about them.
Fair enough. All right. Well, anyway.
Sometimes it's like 10, 15 minutes, and then it's like 2 of those together doesn't make a very long episode.
Yeah, so I think we'll start expanding the episodes a bit. Plus, we have like, no joke, we have like 48 movies reviewed that have not been touched. We have done over 100 movies on this podcast, and we have released less than 50 movies to the public. So
That's my fault.
No, it's not. It's not a big deal. We record more often than we release podcast episodes. That's not your fault. That's just the way life is. But you know, I think we can start doing larger episodes. So yeah, there's a Roddy Piper episode I have plotted out. 4 episodes. They're all my picks, so it'll be slowly over time. Once they're all recorded, we'll release it. That'll be Jungle Ground, Tough and Deadly, Immortal Kombat, and what's the other one with Billy Blanks? Fuck. It's Tough and Deadly.
Back in Action.
Back in Action, yeah. So we're doing the double Billy Blanks, Roddy Piper films, and then we're going to do the 2 Roddy Piper joins Fighting Network films. Basically, it's a double bill. I've been planning that for over a year, but we've been dealing with a bunch of other like delays. Mainly, we just keep being busy.
Go to 3 to 4 after the next one, because I'm kind of already partially edited one right now.
That's
No Holds Barred and Terminal Rush.
What was it? What's the first one?
No Holds Barred.
No Holds Barred. Oh yeah. We did Psy-Fighters. Did we already release Psy-Fighters?
I don't remember.
Oh, all right.
I want to say yes.
Because that also has Roddy
I feel
Piper,
like we've already dropped an audio episode with Roddy Piper stuff.
We did with Hell Comes to Frogtown. Yeah. That's all right. Let's see here. Show notes. What movie I was just asking? Oh yeah, Fighters. Fine. Yeah, it's on episode 4 with Hell Comes to Frogtown. Yep. I feel bad for people having to see the 12 rounds 3 countdown episode. Those movies were terrible. They were just really bad. Anyway, we'll see you hopefully next week for another episode of Psychotronic Coast to Coast here on YouTube. And on wherever podcast network we end up on, because we're apparently switching. Anyway, take it easy, everyone. Any last words, Owen?
Nope.
All right. Bye, everybody.